Okay, this kit is a little bit more complex than the bedside kit. This is what I keep in my car. A lot of people will call it a good bag, G-O-O-D, get out of Dodge, or BOB, a bug out bag. But more accurately, this is more of a get home bag. So if anything happens and I'm away from my home by some great distance, the items in this kit will help me either get home, or if we have to flee the area, I've got some essentials in here that'll help make that a little more comfortable. So first off, I have a 2.5 gallon water can here. Keep this in the trunk of my car in case I ever need water. Swap this out every 6 months. So every June and December, I usually swap out the water in this can. It's 2.5 gallons, so it's smaller than the 5 gallon. Makes it a little easier to carry. Okay, and then the main pack here, in these external pouches, I keep a D-cell strobe light that'll help nighttime signaling. And in this one I keep a Surefire Lithium flashlight. You don't have to get a Surefire. There's a lot of brands out there that are a lot cheaper. Surefires are pretty expensive these days. So you can look at 47's brand. They make some really good stuff, as well as Phoenix brand, F-E-N-I-X. They make some pretty good flashlights as well. I like the lithium batteries because they last a very long time and they have a lot of power. The only downside is they're kind of expensive. Okay, in the lower pouch here, I keep one of my first aid kits, and I have a couple more flashlights, a mini mag, and kind of a long pen light type flashlight, as well as extra batteries and a small multi-tool, kind of like a very small Leatherman. In the side pouches, I keep my water. I have 1 quart canteen here, as well as a canteen cup down in the bottom there. Canteen cup is good for cooking and boiling water. And I have the same thing on this side. 1 quart canteen. And a canteen cup down there, as well as a full-sized Leatherman multi-tool. So this has a lot of uses. Okay, moving on to the other pouches. Let's see. In this pouch I have a large utility knife. Comes in handy if I ever need to split wood or anything like that. I can use the baton method to make firewood. Has a lot of other uses as well. And I have my main first aid kit, and like I said previously, I like to buy these store-bought ones and then customize them to my own needs. So I'll take out stuff that I don't need, and I'll add stuff that I think I will have to use in the future. I've got a lighter, a signal panel. Now this might seem a little bit extraneous, but if I'm ever going into the mountains during the winter time and you know there's a chance of snow, I'll carry this with me, and if I'm ever stranded, I could tie this down on the roof of my car and help signal any rescuers that are looking for me from the air. And I've got this space blanket. It's okay. I mean, it does its job, but I would like to get something a little more substantial as far as a space blanket. The thing about preparing for disasters, you can never be fully prepared. There's always something more you can do, always something that needs to be done with your existing kit. So this space blanket I eventually like to replace with a little higher quality and heavier duty Adventure Medical emergency bivy. Those are pretty good. They're very thick, not like this thin thing right here. This $2 space blanket. Let's see if there's anything else in here worth noting. I think that's it for here. Okay, the internal pouch is where the bulk of my supplies are. So I keep freeze-dried meals here. These require boiled water, so they take time. They're very light, but you need to take time and find a source of water, clean water. And I usually take a Sharpie. If you can see here, I mark the date of purchase, so I know when these will expire. Okay, duct tape. You could ask MacGyver, multiple uses here. And I've got, let's see, 100 feet of 550 paracord. A lot of uses for this stuff. You can use it to build a shelter, hang a clothesline, make a tripwire or animal snares. Inside the paracord are 7 strands of thinner cord that you can use to make fishing line with. There's just tons of uses this stuff has. I mean, if you break a shoelace, you can use this to create a new shoelace to replace a broken one. Or if you have to, you can use this to make a makeshift tourniquet to stop bleeding. So there's a lot of uses for this paracord. Okay, I have several MREs, meals ready to eat. The packaging is very bulky, so what I usually like to do, if I can, is cut them open and consolidate them. So like I'll take the entrees out of their cardboard box and save a lot of space that way. They don't require water, a little bit of water to heat them up if that's what you want to do, but they already have water in the entrees and everything like that, so they save time and they save the need for having to find water, but the downside is they're very heavy because of the water content in them. Again, dust masks. I like to keep these because in an earthquake, there's no telling what kind of toxic dust and spores will be kicked up from the earthquake. I remember, I can't remember when, it might have been 10, 20 years ago, there was an earthquake in, I want to say Monterey or San Luis Obispo, somewhere around there, central coast of California, where an earthquake actually kicked up toxic spores. So if you Google that, you'll find out that a lot of people after the earthquake came down with respiratory illnesses because of these spores that were kicked up from the earthquake. Okay, another MRE here. And then I have a change of clothes, just some basic utility trousers, shirt, and you'll notice these are neutral or dark colors just in case I ever don't want to be seen, in case we're ever in a situation like Hurricane Katrina or something like that where there's a bit of lawlessness. We like to call that a WROL, without rule of law. So we're talking no police, no government services. I like to keep my clothing a little bit neutral colored. You'll see here, sweater, just in case I don't want to be seen. Down at the bottom, have my poncho liner to help keep me warm in case I'm ever in cold weather. And I think the last part of this car kit is my water bladder. This pack has a space in the back for a hydration pouch. Very useful. So that's about it for the car kit. So I'll move on to the house kit next.